right. We're now about to start Shelbyville Now Real Talk, Bo. We're going to let a few people get in here. I know there's some people hanging around after the breaking news that we just had on the
Yep,
lawsuit.
there was some breaking news
Yeah,
there.
and I know you've got some data for us that we're going to dive into
I do.
and talk about, and hopefully it will give some insight. But I want to kind of give a tariff update.
Please do.
It's still starting to affect certain items. We're seeing price increases still. Now, there are some people that still don't understand that whenever Trump says, I'm going to tariff China, China does not pay the tariff.
No, the tariff is paid at the port when it
By
enters.
us.
By us.
We write them a check.
Thus, the consumer writes the importer the check.
I've got one. I talked to one of my suppliers in India today. And over the weekend, I talked to one in Pakistan. The guy in Pakistan has a shipment ready to ship us. And he sent me a bill and he said, you can pay your tariff in advance so you don't have to spend 5 days and it can be cleared when it gets to your port without hesitation, okay, on a fast track. Or you can pay for it over there. It's 12%.
And
okay.
you would save a little bit on
No, there's no savings. It's
no
the same either way. It just save a 2 or 3 day process.
I see.
All right, so I can pay it in advance or I can wait and pay for it. It's the same amount.
Right.
He just has to flip a switch.
Right.
But I send the wire to him and he pays it. Okay, it's not, they don't pay it.
I see, yeah.
All right, these countries are not paying the tariff.
No, the tariffs are being paid.
The American taxpayers are paying the tariffs.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's make that clear.
Yes.
I think
people don't understand that.
No, and I'm one of them that hadn't been a tariff scholar.
Let me tell you, it's new to everybody because we hadn't really experienced it.
No, we haven't.
Before.
Not to this level to where it could possibly change certain items. Really inflate them.
It's not paid for by the countries.
Yes.
It's paid for by the people ordering the products, which is me.
Yeah. You order it and
I sell it to you, you're paying the tariff.
That you have to you pass that on. Okay. I mean, you don't have to, but then you go out of business.
All right. May 1st is that key date I keep putting out there.
We're a few days off.
All right. That week, next week, we're going to start to see some more impact happening. But just an update, China has canceled all incoming agriculture products from the United States, which I didn't realize that we send them lumber. Yeah. We sell them wood pulp. We sell them wood pulp. They turn around and make paper and send it back to us. All right. So that's out.
Big circle.
All right. Big circle. Hay. I didn't realize they used hay from the United States, but they actually buy shiploads of hay. I guess our quality and our price is better than what they can produce over there. I don't know if they're just a big dust bowl and they can't grow good grass there. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say that it's probably has some.
Well, half of it's under ice anyway.
So what do they do? Does it stay on the Chinese port, or does it never leave our port?
It's on the water, and they're turning around and coming back with it. Okay, so this is going to hurt farmers with China because you got grain, horse feed, all types of animal feeds, grains, beans, all this stuff is stopped. Okay. Some of that livelihood for our farmers are going to be chopped into. 20% of our agriculture products are going to China. Yeah. Didn't think we sold them that much, but I got to digging into it and found that out. They stopped. All right. So I'm thinking by July 4th that we have probably 15 to 20 trade deals in place, but it ain't going to be China.
But with this glutton of supplies at the port, and say we get to use our own hay or our own lumber,
prices are going to come down.
Prices will come down, which will be good for the consumer,
but not good for the farmers.
That's right. They
got to unload it.
That's right,
or throw it away.
So for a consumer, you're probably thinking, that's what we want. Well, yes, and no. There's two ways, and it's going to really hurt the farmers because the ones producing those. Yeah. I mean, they may have to change their way. It seems like farming for lumber would be good, but there's
what a lot of people don't understand. Our two governments are not trading. It's companies with companies.
Private firms.
It's companies with companies, okay? So the Xi doesn't call Trump and say, I need some hay over here. It's a company over there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. This is we're just still doing business. We have the relationship, but our government is making us do this.
Well, they basically said you're not ordering anymore. It's an embargo. It's just over.
Yeah, it's
all right. So those companies comply. That leaves our companies over here with stuff on the water. They can't move. It's either going to ruin or they bring it back home and flood our market.
Which is it's happening. There's a flood on both ports. I would say that then they won't let them in unless this is paid. But are they still? Is there been any relief on that front with China? Is there? I know they've made deals with a few of the smaller.
They hadn't
players.
made deals yet. India is the top
about
one,
the deals,
and it's going to take. I'm going to say we're going to hear something this week on Wednesday or Thursday on China, and I mean on India. India is a big player. If India comes around and we do get a deal done that quick, it's possible to get other deals done quick. But it took 4 years in some cases back years ago on making some of these trade deals, and we ain't got 4 years.
No, this might be to
happen quick,
such an extent that this is almost like emergency. Tariff
situation. you got to have it on paper. So this is what we're up to.
Yeah.
This is what we'll do. Yeah. We want you to do this. Sign it here.
Every minute.
No, and then you start negotiating.
Yeah.
And then I say, but anyway, you look at it. There's going to be tariffs on everything.
Yes.
That we buy. Okay.
Now we talked.
And these countries are not paying it. For you guys out there, I saw a comment last time we talked about this. They said if these countries don't want to pay, then they'll just have to go somewhere. No, these countries aren't paying. We're paying.
Yeah,
we're the one paying.
If I wanted to buy something from over there and get it, I would have to pay that premium
140%.
Then
from China.
Then
all right, but if you have a 10 or 12 or 15% tariff on products coming in the United States at the retail level, that's going to be a 30% increase. That makes our inflation that we've experienced the last 4 years look like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah,
it really does.
Yeah,
all right, okay.
Getting to 1920 stuff.
Let's move this forward to today.
Move her on.
All right, so we're going to talk about the median income, not the median income, the average income. The median income is the middle. It's in the 60,000s. The average income in Bedford County is just a little over $50,000. Median and average is two different things.
It is.
You look at the average, it's about $50,000. That turns into a $40,000 bring home pay. You and I were talking earlier today about some of the rentals, some of the homes that aren't selling, the multifamily dwellings where you have townhomes and they look like apartments. They're all attached together like duplexes.
Yeah, brand new.
Yeah. Sitting, they can't sell them. Now they're going to try to rent them. Yep. Rent on some of these, I noticed, was $2,200 a month. So if you take the average family in Bedford County, that $2,200 a month is $26,400. And if they're making an average income bring home of $40,000, that gives them $13,600 to raise their family and feed their family and have cars and pay their car insurance and all that stuff. Right now, people are living on their credit cards and they're about maxed out, but we are in a crisis.
I mean, that is a 60% or more home just for your home payment. Let alone an emergency or something come up, any type of maintenance, things fall apart. I mean, this right here is very troubling. And let's just be, not every one of them is $2,200, but if you wanted that new one, that seems really high. There are lower rents, but the lower rent you go,
but on this right here, if you calculated the ratio that it should be, they're gonna pay $800 or $900, and then they can afford it. But you can't get $1,500 out of that,
as we can see, because they're sitting empty. I don't think any of them have been occupied.
You take this same guy is out busting his tail working, bringing this money, and then he gets conned into buying a $100,000 pickup truck and has $1,000 payment for 20 years. That eats up what's left to feed the family. Right. We're in a crisis.
It is, and the foreclosures. Actually, I did do a foreclosure appraisal the other day. It's the first one I've done in a long, long time. Is it? Am I seeing a lot? No, not right now. But I have a feeling that everybody's struggling and that are going through this economic crisis together. But I'm just hoping that there will be some relief soon. In the real estate market, just looking at some numbers, our month supply, we've been steadily at 1.5 to 2, home on our month supply. We're now at 5. We've almost
what does that mean? What's that number?
That is your supply, like on an average monthly
5 what?
Yeah, 5 homes sold, or you've got 5 homes always for sale all the time. That are active in the market. This is the 2. It means that there's not that much. There's a lot of competition out there. They're getting absorbed by the market.
So this that right here, 2.77 what?
Homes, it's homes per. month supply of homes, and I'll get back.
Well, I know there's more
Yeah.
than 5 homes for.
Yeah, let
so
me.
what is that?
Yeah, that's. I'm not sure exactly.
That's a
on that.
ratio of some
I think
sort.
it is. It is, and I will get.
Well, what
it
about the
doesn't have
raw
that,
numbers?
But all I know is that is all I know is that that's just right here. It says that the month supply. I mean, it's up 84%. Let's just put that.
You got 5.24 months of supply.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And this time last year we had 2.85 months of supply.
Thank you.
All right, so that means our inventory would run out in 3 months last year.
There
now,
you go.
Our inventory run out a little over 5.
That was how you say it.
So we got more 5. We got 5. We double what we was last year.
Last year at this time. Now another number that really stood out to me here was our
Dennis Grider's in there.
What's up, Dennis?
Manufactured homes are becoming more popular for sure. Dennis, here's a question I got, and maybe you know the answer.
Oh, they are.
This. Where do you find a lot to put one?
Well, you're going to pay. You're going to pay dearly, but it is hard because a lot of
zoning. Do it in the county.
Yeah, a lot of zoning, and if you went to Marshall County, they don't allow them. They just don't allow them. There's a grandfather clause there, but they just don't
no
allow
more mobile home parks. Period.
Not in Marshall County.
What are we going to do with people?
Well, if we did that here,
no, I mean, I'm just saying, what are we going to do? I mean, as far as you got people right now that are wanting to find a place to live, they're living with relatives.
Yeah.
And some of them are in these campers that we've talked about. They can't afford it.
Something's going to have to give.
I know.
And it's going to, and markets are what they are. Markets, they go up and they go down. And right now they're in the upside. Another interesting number is the closings year to date. Last year at this time, there were 53. There's been 39 this year.
Okay. So that's a decrease of what percent?
That's a decrease of, let's see here.
Closings right there.
Yeah, 26%.
26% down from last year.
And our active inventory, that's another telling one.
It's up 54%.
Up 54. So that means that you've got a lot more supply and less demand.
All right. And we got all these developments coming in.
Right.
Okay. Are supposedly coming in.
Yes.
Is this a sign, if I'm a developer and I see these numbers, am I going to hit the pause button for a minute?
Well,
realistically,
yes. It depending on on how good a shape you are financially. There are some that will go ahead and break ground on a few that would have planned to build a whole phase. They might just do a quarter of a phase. What they're doing right now is really worried, and I'm afraid that they might be pushing pause on some of these. Like you said, there is a lot active in Bedford County right now at the moment. But as far as them being constructed right now, there's not so many. There is a lot on the books, that have been approved by planning commissions, county, city.
Ain't breaking ground yet.
There are some that are, but it isn't like it was.
Let's just throw this in that I just brought up a minute ago about lumber going to China has been brought back.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not buying it.
Right.
Our prices should go down.
Yes.
Would that be an incentive for people to build with a cheaper lumber?
I would think absolutely.
I would think so. I'm seeing a 20% decrease on lumber based on just what's coming back or not going to China.
Yeah, a lot of people, and then you've got the fact of how high it's been in the last few years. A lot of people have been waiting for this time for it to come down. It's going to really help those, and which would improve the market, which would improve developers also that are developing subdivisions, and those that are building on like acreage, families that are wanting to do that. It's never a bad thing when the lumber is lower where it can be cost. You always have much more construction when your products are
okay. But if they're not moving, do you still go ahead and invest?
No, I wouldn't. There are some philosophies that they will build them and then rent them out. That typically doesn't, as far as condition, it
not
really
until prices come down.
Yep.
All right. So here's my question, Bo. We look at this rent. And I know you've got several people that have voiced their opinions publicly about there's just no way I can rent.
Right.
And I've seen it on social media all the time.
Yeah.
I've talked to people that say, I can't buy a house and I sure can't afford to rent one because your rental rates are about the same price what your mortgage rates are.
If not more.
Okay, so if we got down to the way it was 5 years ago, where, you could get a 1-bedroom apartment for maybe $750.
Yeah.
And then you could get a 2-bedroom apartment for $1,000, and then a 3-bedroom apartment for like $1,200 or $1,300. You go back to those numbers, then you've got an affordable housing situation in Bedford County.
Yes.
I don't see it happening.
No, and then that affects those numbers there. It affects the how much we consume as well. I mean, going out to eat and going to Chick-fil-A and going
that's
here and
over
there,
with.
It's over with. I mean, there's no way that you can do that. It's hard enough, let alone just to go to the grocery store and get gas. I mean, luckily it hadn't just gone through the roof.
Here's your choice. Now, I've always heard this argument from some people that it's cheaper to go out to eat than it is to go buy groceries and fix it at home. I said, nah, I don't know about that. But then you go through the grocery store and start looking.
Yeah.
All right, what about the person that goes to the grocery store and buys a week's supply of groceries, and they put it on their shelf and throw half of it away and go out and eat anyway? They're going broke.
That's what's happening to a lot of people. They are going broke. It's throwing money out the window. You know, you need to, if that's the way you're going to live, you ought to buy what you're going to cook that night. You know, because you would lose a lot of money that way. But
Dennis came back on the lot situation. I talked to Clayton and Harriman. They're building a lot of spec on lot already homes in that area, but Clayton and Columbia is having more trouble finding lots.
Yeah,
especially in Bedford County.
Yeah. I mean, that if anything, Bedford County wants to promote, I guess, single family site built homes. You know, but there is a market for manufactured homes, and they are
they're cheaper.
They're cheaper, and they're very, very well built. I've gone to a factory to see those happen, and my brother did that too. He sold these before. And they are built like tanks. I mean, they're spent under, they go through this huge building. It's really a neat process, but they are not, they did get a bad, I guess a bad look years ago when you saw these, but no, nowadays they are. But if the building does stop and these subdivisions are out, a lot of times you'll bring back the thing we hadn't seen in a while, which is lots being sold individually. That might bring that, because sometimes when it does go down, they're trying to recoup some of that money, and they'll start selling off individual lots.
Here's another thing that's a trend, not around here yet, but I saw a guy yesterday talking in Florida around the Tampa area. The homeowners associations, their fees have gotten so high, and the property taxes have gotten so high, people are just bailing out of their second homes in Florida. And just slashing prices just to get out of it because it's gotten so outrageous.
Yeah, I've heard that it's just a mess with
Can't get insurance?
Yeah.
That's another problem we're going to have.
These HOAs, though, but people are just not paying it anymore. I've heard of it in a lot of, they're just, no, I don't need that. I'll start mowing my own grass, which is against all these regulations in the city, which I don't blame them.
It's against the regulation in the city?
I mean, against the regulations of their homeowners association.
Those are going to be null and void.
They're flimsy, they are. And they're from a good place, to maintain.
Yeah, but they've turned into something.
Yeah, they've turned into a power grab.
Yeah, control freaks.
Yeah.
All right, well, Bo, it's interesting. All this stuff going on.
It's looking, just to kind of summarize that, right now it's looking a little bit like numbers are going, down. That there's a higher supply here in Bedford County than there's been in some time. Now, this might be a standout outside the box month, and then next month it might rebound. But the numbers right now are that. And
the question is, Bo, are people going to keep coming to Bedford County from California and New York and places like that where they've sold their home for a large amount? They got the cash. They don't care what it costs. They'll take it. Is that going to happen? What happens to the people that are from Bedford County that are making this average salary that can't afford it? Where are they going?
It's going to price them out. And yes, those California and whatever states, they are going to continue to come because they're still.
Our inventory is big for that.
Yes, it is, and they'll have a little bit more to choose from and negotiate from. But a lot of them do come in here and buy land and just build. So.
I think it's turning into a buyer's market.
Yep, it could. You could make that a very
Slowly.
good argument.
It's turning the other way. It's
could,
still a good market.
Yeah.
But it's turning into a buyer's market. When you start seeing homes sitting that long, it's flipping.
I would call my realtor today, and if you're thinking of it, make you an offer. Yeah, make you an offer.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back again when we have an update on what's going on.
We will.
Keep your eyes on the shelves at Walmart and your grocery stores.
Let us know.
You're going to start to see a product or two starting to vanish. Talked to somebody the other day that was at Walmart. They called me and said, you better get some ibuprofen and Tylenol if you want it because the shelves are empty. I said, okay. Well, that must have been a one-time thing. I think that you can still find it right now. But stuff like that's going to start happening.
Get your toilet paper. This toilet paper thing.
Don't know about toilet paper.
Yeah, hey, that was real, and I don't know. That was weird, but the toilet paper went away.
Kimberly, Francisco, a lot of locals can't afford to work and live in Bedford County.
It's hard.
You're 100%. We just went over those numbers.
How can we fix that? How can we get
the prices are going to have to come down, Bo. These rental prices have got to come down.
Yeah, it's affecting everybody. It affects us all. So,
all right.
Good luck to everybody out there.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back.